Hello, good afternoon, good evening, good morning for some people. Who knows?
And good night.
And good night. That ends our stream. No.
We're done now. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for joining us. No, seriously, thank you for joining us. My name is Paul Tranny with the one and only Caitlin Cadieux.
That is true. There is only one.
Yes. Oh, good. That's a good thing.
So far.
Did I pronounce your last name correctly?
That was good, yeah.
Cadieux?
Cadieux.
Cadieux?
We go Cadieux.
I'm learning.
Yeah, it's just,
French,
you know.
and fancy.
It's French-Canadian.
Into it. It's been a French-Canadian afternoon also with Claude. He was a previous guest as well. So thank you so much, Claude, and everybody hanging out with us today. Thank you, Linda and Evan Abrams in the house.
How's it going?
Yes.
What it is, I saw JC a couple times.
Very cool. So, yes, Caitlin, you were here probably about less than a year ago, but 10 months ago or so.
Yeah.
A while ago.
I think it was in April. I'm not 100%.
April, yeah, with Evan Abrams, that's an awesome stream. Two fantastic people. Happy to have you back for
super pumped to be back.
A second time. Really, we're pulling out the big guns because it's Creative Campaign Week. So the big guns, hypothetically.
Not real guns,
Not
guys.
real guns. Great animation happening in the next 2 hours, so this is going to be really fun. So we want to welcome you, Kevin, and Dorina, and Alexander. Hopefully you're hanging out with us all day long. Again, Claude just got done with UX UI, and then also we can just go through the schedule. This would be much easier. All this week, by the way, Tuesday to Thursday. Christine was up first, really creating the assets and all the branding assets with the help of Kathleen. Claude was up doing some UX UI, and Caitlin's gonna be animating some of these fun graphics. So that's today, tomorrow, and Thursday is the whole idea. So super fun. Yeah, how you feeling?
Feeling strong.
Yeah,
Paul. I'm feeling confident.
I
think our team is going to run it in.
All right. Just open that before you. All right, so we also have a daily challenge happening. Challenge tab, check that out. It's basically creating a ticket, a fun ticket based on these festival graphics, which you might be familiar with, but you can check out the challenge tab and see everything about that. It's all about this festival. Are You Out There festival ticket in honor of David Bowie. Today is his birthday.
Today is the Lord's birthday.
Yes, back in was it 47 or something like that. So in honor of David Bowie, we're doing this Are You Out There festival ticket today. You can check out the design brief, which is super fun, and then get the assets. Now, when you get the assets, they're actually going to be a CC library. So when you open up Photoshop or whatever the case may be, it's going to sync and it's going to be right in here, okay? And you can see, I'm actually following this. So Christine, who actually made this, she can actually add to it. It's just one of the fancy things you can do. And then your library will update. But basically, those are the fun graphics. They're right in here. Get you jump started. Got some fonts, some fun graphics. Go ahead and make that ticket, and we'll check those out in about 90 minutes. And then we're gonna do a random fun giveaway in about 25 minutes, just because we can.
Sweet.
Yeah. All right. Enough of that housework. All that housework.
Cleaned it up.
It's
clean.
It's clean now.
It's
looking good. People are already asking about MoGraph, things like that. MoGraph for life, I see, that sort of thing. Don't know what that means.
It's the life that I live every day, Paul.
Yeah.
Whether I like it or not.
And it looks like, this is great because it looks like I just showed some of the graphics and now they're actually on your screen, which this is kind of fun. You got some animation happening already.
And the's motion to them.
And done. We're done.
And that's it.
And done. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks,
Good
David
night.
Bowie.
See ya.
Bye.
So, but this is really cool, seeing these graphics really come to life, and that's what I think it's fun about sort of this segment is again bringing these graphics to life. So I don't know who out there is familiar with After Effects. Just let us know. I want to know if you're new to After Effects, just kind of where you're at. We'd love to hear from you. I think we're going to kind of start sort of with kind of like the fundamentals, at least for the first day, or what do you think?
Yeah, I think so. A lot of the stuff that I did I just basically threw together this like a logo animation. I played around with a lot of different stuff, but it's all pretty accessible and straightforward. So basically, just going to break down how Hopefully if I can get this, you know, how I kind of animated all these letters, how I animated the I for that comes in with this O. And then maybe we can get into the background, which is just some fun, pretty simple particular stuff.
That's really good because it looks like Volcan, a lot of people are saying that they're new to After Effects. Somebody's asking, what is After Effects? Super new. Wow. This is perfect. And that's what I think is fun. And again, this is recorded. So basically this is going to be available on demand. Even if you do go a little bit fast, you can kind of reference it later on as well. But just to kind of give people a little bit of background about yourself. So you do animation. Who do you work for?
I work
Tell us about yourself.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you so much. I work for The Atlantic magazine. I guess just an overview for that. I mean, you know, it's a 160-year-old magazine. A lot of it is, you know, politics and culture and science, all different stuff. I work for the video team. So we do a lot of documentaries, and I do like full-length animated videos for them, and you know, occasionally we do some like title animations or documentary animations, like maps and stuff like that. So that is my full-time job.
And it's really fun because you were telling me that you kind of get to kind of pick the subject matter to animate and bring to life. Is that correct?
Yeah, we will pitch ideas. You know, it's usually tied pretty closely to our writers. So we have some amazing writers that write about all different kind of things, and we will, you know, if we read an article that we really like. You know, we see the pieces that are coming out for like upcoming magazines. We'll pitch video ideas on that. So I get to work on a lot of super varied and different stuff. Like last year I did a video about dinosaur extinction and one about like global pandemics.
That's kind of scary.
Yeah, it's a lot of it is pretty scary.
But really fun.
But
I mean,
super
you're like,
interesting.
hey, I get to play with dinosaurs.
Yes.
And I get to learn about like you probably learn a lot working at the Atlantic.
Yeah, that's one of the best parts. Like a lot of really awesome, smart people work at the Atlantic, and I get to learn a ton from them. And get to work on a bunch of cool stuff. So
yeah, that's really cool. Well, we're really happy to have you here. We do, again, have a lot of people that are new to After Effects and might be new to Adobe Live. So if you're new to Adobe Live, we want to hear from you as well. Shout out to Jason Hess, who's new to Behance here, and welcome. Good to have you here, my friend. Yeah, plenty of questions rolling in, but I kind of want to just kind of let you run with it, and then I'll...
All right, let's dive in. Somebody did ask, though, I need to quickly say, Jimmy just asked if I saw Into the Spider-Verse, and I did, and it was amazing. That might be my favorite. Like, if you haven't seen it, you should go see it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're in animation, like, that's breaking new ground. I can't speak highly enough of it.
So good. And such a great story.
It was.
How can you mix all, and then we don't want to give anything away, but like,
this
all
is a
these different
stream.
like styles and different things. It was just
phenomenal. Highly recommend.
And then on top of that, it's groundbreaking in terms of its style, making it look kind of like a comic book come to life.
Oh yeah.
And then modern day comic book, right? Because comic books are amazing these days, and to bring that to life just looks so cool.
And no one's done anything like that. Enjoy. I should go again.
Ooh, Alexandra said it got a Golden Globe.
It did. It won the Golden Globe. Come for that Oscar, baby.
Animation feature film. Best animated feature film, I assume.
Best picture, baby. I don't know. We'll see, but...
Cool. And yeah, try to catch it in a theater. I think that's why I went, because it's kind of worthy to see on a big screen.
Oh, yeah. I'm so glad I got to see it in a nice theater.
I could see something like that, watching that and inspiring, you know, someone to actually go into the field of animation.
Absolutely. It felt like seeing an animated film for the first time.
And I like seeing it. It's so graphic. I don't know if it's as similar to your style, but it's graphic in the way that you kind of deal with these like fun, bold colors, like as I look at your screen.
Totally. I'm all about graphic looking stuff, and when I do 3D, it's all 2D style. Yeah, so yeah, it's
exactly.
Right. Seeing the potential of that.
I can't wait to, even as, I know you rendered this already, but that eye, as it kind of moves around too.
Yes.
It's kind of a pseudo 3D, but adds another dimension to it, obviously.
And that's such a simple trick. I am excited to show that because it's really pretty easy to put that together.
I want to learn all these tricks.
So I'm gonna start with the simplest thing, I think, which is the letter A.
Oh, Andrew Embry, good to have you here, buddy.
Oh, what's up? You saw it 5 times? I mean, that's still not enough, honestly.
Oh man.
I could go. I need to go again. Maybe I'll go while I'm out here. keep that Spider-Verse dialogue going. This is sustaining me.
Yeah, just try to, it's like I really want to talk about it, but I feel like
no spoiling. It's a rich story that should be discovered on its own.
I know. Okay, good. This is more my speed. Like, simple.
Here we are. Yes, this is so
start with like
simple.
one graphic. Is this where you're going to begin? Kind of.
Yeah,
like...
this is where I'm going to start because this is pretty basic, and then it has some, just like a little nice trick to make it all kind of come together. Yeah. So literally this is, let's see if I can just boil it down to its essence. And I'm going to turn off this effect, which I will talk about in a second. So I started out with the letter A. You can see it here. This is like the actual shape of the letter.
Okay. And is that serving as like a mask or something?
Yes, it is. I'm just trying to pull up the actual logo so you can see it. So like, yeah, this is the, raw file. I used Overlord to just push this into After Effects, and then I broke it up into pieces from there. So yes, I have this one A, it's in here right now, and this is acting as a mat that is like masking out the A shape. And underneath all of this, it's just a stroke. It's actually two strokes.
Okay.
Because I have one for that cross,
Oh, another one for the cross.
Yeah,
bar.
I don't know the typography. I went to graphic design school, but I was always bad at typography. I don't know all the,
Okay. Okay, to even step it back further, is it a mask now, and how did you make that mask?
So it's not. There's one letter, so I'm just turning off that letter A for now. It's still there, but...
Okay.
So this is what I started with. I started out with one layer, and it's a shape layer that's made out of two strokes. And so I guess I can try and rebuild this.
I would love you... I mean, you're probably pretty... I could imagine you're pretty fast at what you do.
I have been accused of that before. In a good way. So this is how I started out. I just opened up a new comp, made it the same size.
I appreciate this, by the way, just kind of starting from scratch. It's nice.
Yeah, and hopefully this should go pretty quick because it's super easy to just you throw stuff like this together and you can get back in there and change the colors and tweak stuff if you need to. But so I just put in my letter A, and then, I grab my pen tool here, and I'm gonna start just making those strokes. And I pretty much just plunked it in here.
Could you import a stroke from Illustrator, or does this give you more flexibility doing it in After Effects?
You can. Just for this, I don't need necessarily. I like to work in Illustrator a lot first because to me it's more precise. I have some plugins in Illustrator that I like to use, and the snapping and stuff like that. A lot of artwork I make in Illustrator, I did not make any of these, obviously, but for this, since I'm basically just gonna throw down these two strokes, it doesn't need to be super precise, and I can just kind of move the points around if I need to. So I had a gradient fill on this, I don't need that. So I'm gonna go up to fill here and turn it off. And then I'll go to stroke and I'll just crank up the stroke.
Yeah, you're right. Jimmy says it kind of does look like the Avengers A.
It does, I have thought that.
Into it, that's cool. So you just cranked up the size. We can. I'm sure all these properties you're messing with can be animated, and that's kind of what we saw. Without
yes,
giving too much
actually,
away.
I just animated the stroke width, and that's how this ends up animating on screen. So something I use a lot. I've heard people say they don't do this a lot, but to me it makes it a little bit easier to navigate in here, especially when you have a lot of layers. I want to adjust these path points because they're not super aligned where I want them to be. So I'll highlight this stroke, which I'll call it stroke 1. And then I like to just I want to get the path really quickly, so I'll have that highlighted and go up to the taskbar and just search for
Oh, you can search for a path based on what it is. Okay,
yeah,
good.
It just makes it easier so you don't have to be twirling down all the arrows. So they've done a lot in the past few years to make it easier to kind of to drill down into stuff like this, but this is just quick for me, and then I can kind of grab these points and push them around.
Yeah, because as a seasoned animator, you end up with a ton of layers. So you're okay,
yes.
Organizing and getting the things is going to be very important.
Yeah, it can get out of control. And so this is how you bring back that control. You get it back for yourself.
I like it.
So I'm just gonna.
And it's fun. You could do and this is drawing from really old info, but like the tilde key.
Oh yeah, I was like, what does that do?
If you had a ton down
Right.
here, you could do tilde, and then that will reveal all your layers. So that's kind of
that is helpful for when you are just
lost in the
totally
weeds.
lost.
That's why I know it.
Yeah, or sometimes these panels, these are like a little thing. Sometimes they just get a little crowded, so you can. It's not like super zoomed in there, but just so you can just look at it without having to worry about anything else or get distracted by anything else. It just like it's whatever your cursor is over. I don't think you even have to click. You can just you just put your cursor over this, hit the tilde key.
Oh, I didn't know that. Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's pretty helpful for just isolating.
Yes.
On-screen materials.
And Jimmy, not to worry, I think we will get to expressions. I don't know if we'll get to it today, but I did see it.
And I will say, I mean, I use a lot of expressions, and I am not any kind of like expressions wizard. I am so proud of myself whenever I like write an expression that works from scratch.
Don't you just feel like the smartest person in the world?
I feel like I am such a champion.
Like, I'm a genius.
So a lot of stuff is out there that makes it easier for you. There are a lot of expressions I use where I just Google it and just copy paste again, and they're not super complicated, but it's easier than like rote memorization. But definitely we can get to that. Hopefully I'll have more of that in the next couple days. To keep going with this, I'm gonna add the second stroke, and I want it to be in the same shape layer, so I'll make sure that I have the stroke one still clicked, and I'll hit G to get my pen tool again. That's like the keyboard shortcut, and I'll just add another one here. And then I'm gonna want to get in the path of that second shape and just like make sure that these are pretty close.
Oh, thank you so much, Andrew Embry, by the way, another Canadian animator as well.
Yep.
And has the best initials.
Cool guy.
And best initials.
Hey, yeah. I think he might have done that on purpose. I don't know.
I think he changed his name just so it would, or maybe that he was destined to do what he's doing based on his initials.
Yeah, it was decided from birth.
Before After Effects was even created.
So I'm gonna animate the stroke width on this, and again, stroke width is in here if you drill down through the arrows, but I don't like to do that. And I won't.
That's right.
So I type in stroke. Usually stroke will get it. And then I'll add a keyframe here with these little stopwatches on both. You can just like click and drag to get both of them. And
I didn't know you could do a click and drag.
Yeah, so like if you have a ton of stuff too, you want to put a keyframe on and it's not all highlighted, sometimes I'll just click and drag down the whole list, or I mean you can click all of them, select all of them, and then add a keyframe. You can do this deal. So I'll go back to the start. I have this keyframed at 67 here, and then I'll go back.
So just to kind of like recap, you turn on the stopwatch. This is essential. Turn on the stopwatch at 0, and then whatever, a second in, you defined your keyframes, and typically this is what happens. You'll scroll back to like your 0. Right at the very beginning, and so you build animations kind of.
Yeah, I'm gonna do like
kind of start with the final image or the final A.
I do
and
this
then
a lot.
Work backwards.
Yeah,
I mean,
this is a super basic example, but like if I'm gonna scale up this sphere for just like a quick keyframe test, I mean, so this is as big as I want it to be, but I want it to start from nothing, so I can go to scale and I'll like go up in time. Put a keyframe, and then go back to the beginning, and then put a 0 keyframe on it, and then that way it's like, I start out with what I have, and I can work backwards.
You did another keyboard shortcut there too, because you've isolated the scale.
So I did.
Hit S.
Yes.
And that's one thing you end up doing after a while. S, I don't know if P is going to be for position.
P is position, T is opacity.
Opacity, yeah.
I'm
or
sure there's
T for transparency is one way to think about it.
I've never, ever thought about that, actually, and that's obviously what it's from, right? That makes so much sense. So, yeah, and one other fun thing is if I have, like, position keyframed and I have opacity keyframed and scale, and then I want to see all of them, you can hit U.
Yes.
Opens all of them.
The Uber key.
And I don't know exactly what this does, but if you hit UU, it opens, like, a bunch of stuff, but I cannot remember exactly what or why. But just the single
Andrew,
U.
Someone? Anyone?
So yeah, does anyone know that?
What is
Because
UU?
something.
Brings up more options.
Kevin is asking, how do you get the timing right? How do you know how many frames? I mean, on a case-by-case basis, it's gonna vary wildly, but just for me, I almost always just go 10 or 20 frames, and that's if you hit Command Shift and then like right or left arrow, it'll go 10. So if you just hit Command and do right, you know, it's 1 frame at a time.
Yeah.
And so I almost always do 20 just to give myself enough space. All changed properties. UU is all changed properties. Thank you, JC.
Oh, okay.
Because I was like, I don't know, dang.
Thank you, JC.
Yeah, so I like to start out with 20 because that just seems to give me enough space.
And it's always something that you can play with as well. Because even if you did, and this is, I remember doing this, I would make things very slow for some reason.
Yeah.
And then I have to tighten it up. And if you select them all, do you have to, you hold down a shortcut key and it will scale down proportionally.
Yes. So let's say like I have, this is a 3-second scale. That's pretty buck wild.
Mm-hmm.
So this is so slow. But if I wanted to shorten that down and kind of, I don't know, eyeball it, or maybe I had a bunch of keyframes in here in between that I wanted to make sure they stayed that way, keep it proportional.
Yeah.
You go to your highlight all of your keyframes and go to the last one. And I think it's Option. Yeah. So let me show you with like, put a bunch of random stuff in here. So maybe I like love the timing of this very specific scale animation that I've built, but I just want it to happen faster.
Yeah, exactly.
Then I can highlight all those, hold down Option, and just it all goes.
It's like a rubber band.
Yeah, it's just squishing them all in there.
Elastic.
But then like the distances between the keyframes like remain proportional to what they were.
That's really good. Oh, you know, Kindle, you're probably a pro. Kindle does everything, a lot of things based on muscle memory. And I noticed you do that because you work really fast. And you're like, and sometimes you're right, you won't even know the name of the key, but you're like, oh, I guess I do hit that.
Yeah, it's like I have to think about it. I guess that's just the magic of shortcuts. Like once you really internalize them, on my desktop at home, I have like a Windows keyboard because it's ergonomic and things are a little different.
Yeah.
And so switching between laptop and desktop is very weird.
So you're on a Windows machine at home?
No, actually, it was just
like... It's a
like,
Windows keyboard
yeah,
connected to a Mac.
Yeah. It was just the nicest ergonomic keyboard that was like for the money.
Yeah.
I think it was like Wirecutter or something was like, this one's good. And so I got it.
That's awesome.
And it's nice, but it's not the same exactly. Where did we leave this off of? So we have our stroke width animating, which as you can see, I got 2. You know what else is a fun trick? Since there are 2 strokes on this shape layer, but I want the stroke width animation to be the same. This is kind of redundant. I have 4 keyframes total. I don't need 4, I can just do 2. So what I can do is just take the keyframes off of one of these, and all of the layers now have this like handy little pick
pointer.
Whip.
Yeah, a little pick whip.
And I can just grab this stroke width pick whip and go whoop.
Boop.
And so now it's red.
It's red, so it's tied to...
Ooh, I just did it again. I just did a keyboard shortcut again. But yeah,
sorry.
So this is the animated stroke width here. And then here's the one that I just pick whip dragged to the other one. And now it has a little expression on it.
And it will say what one it's tied to. You can read that basically.
So it's on like shape 2. So this is shape 1, and now it's linked to shape 2's stroke width. So now I only have to animate the stroke width on one of them. And I don't even have to worry about the other one because it's just automatically tied to the first one.
I like it. 25 minutes in, and we already have a little expression in there. That was, I mean,
yeah, so
it makes you look really fancy, but all you did is use a little pick whip.
Those guns I was talking about.
In 5 minutes, not to worry, less than that, actually, in 3 minutes, we're going to do a random giveaway just because we can, and we appreciate you. Ashi and Jimmy and James and Eric and everybody hanging out.
And James, I don't know if we got that question. It says, did you get my question? I asked about story, but I'm not 100% sure.
Were you asking about like...
Is it Spider-Man?
Adobe story? Our story? Or just...
I got some stories.
We got stories.
I can't guarantee that they're interesting, but I do have them. So one thing I do want to show you on this too is easing. That's another pretty fundamental aspect of After Effects, and you know, you can tell when a lot of people are starting out when they aren't using it, because it has this very, just kind of like, it's a very straightforward kind of motion to it, so it doesn't really have a lot of personality. It's just perfectly linear. The stroke width is just point A to point B, and it adds a lot to animation to start getting more into your eases, and even moving beyond the default ease, which there is a default easy ease, and you can add that by highlighting these keyframes like so. And if you right click on them and go down to keyframe assistant,
easy ease.
Easy ease.
With that.
Bloop. And then you get these little Black Widow type little hourglass shapes.
Hourglass, that's good. I think it's the trying to indicate, I don't know,
time.
Slow to fast to slow.
I don't.
Easy ease. Would that be your rap name if you're like a rapper? Easy ease.
Oh my God.
Sorry,
I don't know. We're gonna have to think about day 3. We'll answer that question.
Okay. So silly.
Jump in the chat.
Is there a what is it called? Can you have it go beyond the current max size? Like, can you have it? Is there a rubber band to where it will go beyond and then back? They're probably right click and go to the different easing properties.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I think because there's
easy ease in, easy out. Okay, maybe. You know, you probably have to go into the motion editor to do some of that crazy stuff.
Let me dive into this. So, when I was talking about eases, like, and how it's important to have them, it's also it's a good way to get started with the default easy ease. But you're also probably gonna want to push it further than that. Usually, you know, the more that you get into animation, you can add a lot of personality. That even this, it's, you know, it's better than just the no ease.
Yeah, for sure.
But so we're gonna use the graph editor.
And that's, thank you so much, JC and Jimmy in the house. We got plenty of smart people in here.
Y'all know this.
What
and
about
JC
this?
is making a good point about using function, which is how I usually do it, instead of. So I'm gonna hold down Command and click these keyframes, and that makes them go back to, that just takes the ease off. And a quick shortcut is to hold down the function key on a Mac. It's this FN key here, and then hit F9. Boom. Eased.
You and JC you guys are on the same page. You and all your After Effects friends here, you guys are all on the same page.
I got you, JC. We go way back.
Yeah.
Everything is cyber.
Anyways, this seems, I feel like, but this is really important. So you took a simple keyframes, right? And then adding this motion actually makes it look good. You're only playing with one because you have two. You have the other stroke, which is now an expression pointing to the previous stroke.
Right. So it's just like I don't have to do this twice. Now I can just do it one time, and then both strokes are doing it. And it's just as simple as a click and drag, which can save you a ton of time. I don't know the answer to that question, James. He was asking about Adobe Story.
Oh, Adobe Story.
I don't know.
I would answer that if this was an Adobe Story stream.
Sorry.
So yeah, like it might be a little specific. You could always hit me up on like Instagram or Twitter. But what we can do for you is dive into Chat and Win right now. Welcome back, everyone. Those fireworks mean, and the animation means it's time for Chat and Win, where we will just pick somebody's name out of chat. So put some, I don't know, eligible words, some words that we can read, so we know it's a cat and that it's not a cat walking on your keyboard.
Actually,
so
if it is a cat, if you can show evidence it's a cat walking on your keyboard, you win. Yeah,
if your cat can walk on your keyboard and actually spell out a word, then yeah, you deserve this. Basically, we're going to give away some Moo credits. So basically, the ability to print up whatever cool design that you want. Maybe it is those tickets that you're designing today. So be like, hey, what's up? I love the...
Anel. She wants to be a mouse, not a cat.
Yeah. Oh, there's a cat walking on our keyboard. It spelled meow. All right, I guess the keyword is cat and meow. We will pull a name at random. And
I'm feeling it. I don't know if she knew this. I have pet rats.
You do.
I do, and they're fantastic. No judging, everyone. If you don't, if you're a rat hater, keep watching. But we have issues together, you and I. And Anel mentioned a mouse, which I think is really hitting close to home for me. So that's where my heart is leaning. Although Paul just threw out a horse, which is kind of a deep cut throwback to my old stream. There was a lot of horse content on that stream. Paul, can you confirm that you were referring to the old stream?
I'm curious about that too. One thing I do know is Jason O'Gorman. Jason, you are a winner. Congratulations. You can see your name right on the screen right here. Boop. And
Jason, did you say anything about rats?
Maybe. Respond to us. But basically, we're going to give you Moo credit. And we're going to just kind of slide into your Behance inbox. That's how we'll contact you. We'll send you a message on Behance letting you know what you want, but we're giving you a gift from Moo. Basically, get anything printed up.
Sweet.
Could be anything. Anything you want.
I'm
That's
a big
kind
Moo
of
fan.
out of our hands at that point. We don't know what you're getting into. All right.
I really appreciate this wave of rap
Paul
positivity,
Alvarez
guys.
knows the horse throwback.
Yes, Paul. Thank you.
I don't even know.
Thank you for being here. There was a great deal of horse content. It wasn't the first day. I think it really came more into play. We did a lot of dressage.
Oh, yeah.
Animation.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Wow.
It's definitely worth checking out if you have, you know.
This was your previous stream here?
Mm-hmm.
On the second?
Yeah,
was it?
second and third day, I think we got into some fancy horse dancing, which is really important for an animator to know how to do that.
How to animate horses,
so, yep.
Kind of like
it comes up all
walking
the
all
time.
cool, like.
Yeah.
Right?
You know, yeah, like they're too cool to hang out with you.
Look at me, I'm a fancy horse.
It was good.
I love it.
Horse Corp.
I'm glad we're just starting with a simple letter right now. That's kind of beyond me. But this I can wrap my head around. This is what I'd...
There wasn't a lot of like Horse Bowie content, like crossover that I'm aware of. So if there was, it's like the one thing he did wrong. Just not enough horse content. No, Bowie didn't do anything wrong. So
yeah,
here we are. We're back in the game. And I was about to easing. That's where we were. Evan is right. Evan is saying that you should check out those replays, and he is absolutely accurate. There is a lot of good horse dancing there. So I'm going to dive back in to the easing situation. I have the default ease on here, but I want to make it a little bit spicier. You know, a little bit more flavor for the viewers at home. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight these keyframes. And then if you go here, you were zooming in on your computer earlier, and I wish I knew how to do that. If you...
Can I do it? Let's just do it right now, because I think other people will know. Does that work?
Yeah, I love it.
I notice you use... You're just like me, because you also have your mouse next to your laptop, but you still always use the...
I have done so much with this trackpad.
So trackpad, so basically we're going into accessibility, and then we have zoom right in here. We could use keyboard shortcuts if you want to remember those. I use the scroll gesture because it's just the control key, and then up with 2 fingers.
Okay, I like that.
And then back down. So just control 2 fingers. Zoop, zoop.
Okay, we're all learning stuff on this stream.
Is that okay? Because I think that helps me out, even if you're not presenting, because it just makes things really clear.
I love this.
Thank you so much for doing this,
if I forget to wear my contacts. So, you have your keyframes highlighted. They are here.
I love this.
It's amazing. You have changed. Thank you. And then we go up to here. This is the graph editor with the keyframes highlighted. Click, click. And then now I got to back up out of here. Here they are.
Okay, there we go.
Okay.
Got some...
There we go. So this is the curve of the motion. And so this is one keyframe here, and this is one keyframe here. And right now it's just got this like perfect parabola.
Is that what it's called?
Math word.
Parabola?
Sure. I don't know. I was never good at it, but it's a perfect arc. And what you can do to kind of add some pizzazz here is you can drag these handles.
That's what I'm talking about.
So let's drag this one in all the way, and we'll drag this one back in. So now we have this shape.
That's gonna be super extreme.
Here we go.
Like, it should get there really fast.
Yes, it'll shoot out really fast and then slow into it.
Okay.
And so if I, did the exact opposite, we're starting back, I just, Command Z'd back to where we were, and we drag this one out. We kind of plug this one in here. Now it's taking forever to kind of open up, and then it like slams into place.
Thank you so much, Mike. The parabolic arc, otherwise known as the St. Louis Arch, as Jimmy says. Right now it's getting a little bit wild. Could it go beyond that final size? What can you do if you grab that final point? Can you, like, how much? You've just manipulated it in and out. What else can you go crazy with it? Can you have it go like beyond and then come back?
Let me see if I
have no idea.
That out. You can do that. What did where? Oh, here we go.
Like which?
Okay.
Oh yeah. So there we go.
So let me I'm gonna walk that back.
Oh yes.
Really quickly so I can show you how I did that.
Love this.
There are two different ways to view the graph editor, and one of them is the speed graph, which is that's how you do it that way. Okay. That's why it kind of ends up looking like, if you have two keyframes and you throw an ease on there, they're gonna look like this. And it's just kind of like flat on the horizon. This is where all the action is. So if you go over here, amazing. If you go to this little guy and you go to value graph, it changes into this kind of S curve. And this one is, I started out for some reason just animating solely on the speed graph, and it took me forever to start using this for some reason. But for a lot of things, this one is a little bit easier to read and a little bit more fun to play around with. I'm gonna drag this little guy to kind of expand my view. So when you're looking at the value graph, everything that, like the more vertical the line is, the faster it's going. And then as it gets more horizontal, it starts to slow down. So it's like really fast in the middle. And what I just did, I'm gonna back out again, is I took this handle and again in the value graph and I dragged it up higher. So now instead of just like horizontally going in, it's the value, it's going above the final value, which is that's 67 stroke width. So now here it's gonna end up going beyond those bounds.
Because I think that's a really fun motion.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not, and again, I'm sorry for having you do this, because it's gonna be masked anyway.
Not at all.
But this is
It's just a good way to show the stuff you can do with this. And there's a lot of times when I'm doing something like this that I'll just keyframe it because it can give you greater control depending on, what it is. If I want it to really slow back down into it again, I might like keyframe that instead, and then so I can do, that. But it's like just knowing that you can do this gives you a lot of options and a lot of like, it's just a fast way to be like, it just jumps and pops back in. Evan Abrams just chimed in saying Cinema 4D is all value graph. And yes, I think that's accurate. Okay. I think there is a way to view the speed graph that you can turn it on so you can see it, but you cannot edit it. I'm pretty sure that is accurate.
Go with it, yeah. It might be called overshoot. That seems to make sense to me.
Yes.
Into it.
Yes, indeed.
Fantastic. Oh yeah, and then somebody mentioned to save your file before long, if you want to.
I actually obsessively save my files, which I highly recommend. It's like a compulsion. Like I just Command S constantly. I probably haven't been doing this on the stream, but I got I got those Dropbox backups, so which have also saved me many times. The version control on Dropbox. But yeah. So we're not gonna get too crazy with the overshoot for the final effect of this. But I'm just gonna make sure that my easing is back to the default. I'm gonna look at this just for, I don't know, maybe I will do the value graph.
And not to worry, Eric says that, After Effects, just looking at it could give you a headache. Overall, you're dealing with something that's, okay. It may look intimidating, but I don't think it really is. It really isn't when you break it down, because you're dealing with two keyframes that you're manipulating.
Right.
So jump in, keep it simple.
So I think what I'll do, and I'm gonna do I use a lot of third-party plugins, so I'm gonna do a quick shout out to one because I use it all the time. And this can actually be a good way to get started with easing if you haven't before. And it's Flow. It's very good.
Flow.
and it's right here. I use it all the time. And this is just like my one curve that I like am extra fond of, so I save it in here. And how it works is basically, you can add your own libraries, you can save your own curves that you make using this like awesome little curve tool. And, or you can, I think there are other people's presets that you can download online and use as their library that you can have access to. But there's also, you know, we've got a lot of basic eases or different things. And then once you've had that selected, you can just like highlight your keyframes and apply it.
Okay.
Whoosh,
Nice.
so that's like a super intense curve. And it'll just throw it on there for you.
Nice.
Here's my one that I'll slap on there.
And I feel like you did, it's not necessarily free. Looks like it's $30, but
No, a lot of the
considering
ones,
how much
yeah.
you do this, it's like any chance you can kind of save some time.
Right.
You know.
And it is just like, I use this all the time. I use this one constantly because it's easy. And then you can just, if you want to quickly like, I am Zach Lovett's like mouthpiece, I thought it said, but no. But I rep Zach Lovett makes a lot of awesome plugins that I use a lot just for like quality of life stuff, just to make things like that much quicker. And this is one of those things where, you know, if I want to just like, this looks cool, but I actually want it to, you know, maybe be like this, you could just like quickly slap it on there. And it's so easy.
Yeah. Looks like it is. Yeah, it's from Render Tom.
Yeah. Thank you,
It has
JC.
a lot.
Yeah, they have done a lot of cool stuff. Super talented and massive time savers. So I'm just gonna throw this back on here. Whoop, got it going. Very cool. So we have one layer now, and that's basically the whole animation of it is that. So I'm gonna go back to the original comp and, you know, I like even got a little spicier with the eases on this, but, and I just duplicated this. So I have my stroke.
Oh, I see what you did.
Quick,
And did you
super quick.
Did you change the color of them too?
Yes, that's like literally all that I did.
Okay, so you did one animation.
Yep.
Duplicated it, offset it.
Yeah,
So
just
each one
threw
starts
on
a
a
little
bunch.
later. Oh yeah, continue. Sorry.
No worries. And I think I use this a lot too, and I'm pretty sure this is free, but it's a plugin called Rift. And I use this to offset and like stagger layers in time because that's a really simple and fast way to add just like some more interest or to like play around with your animations. But it's a little tedious to do it just like manually in After Effects. Like if this helps you can try out a bunch of different stuff pretty fast.
There is one stagger.
Yeah.
But
and
you have to go in and
I think.
Yeah, it's just gonna go, and it typically does it. I don't remember. But.
And I can't even remember how to do it. I've definitely used it before. But this one's like, in the original comp of this, they're just offset, I think by two keyframes.
And you can set that in this, what is it called?
Rift. So yeah, there's a lot of complicated looking stuff in here, but it's super simple to use. But if you want to just like offset a bunch of layers in time, you will use this little zone here.
Ooh, look
I
at
will
you.
never get tired of this. This is amazing. So here's just like, I want it to be every layer to be 2 keyframes like farther down the line than the last one. And so I just
ascending.
2 here, right? And there's like ascending or descending. So my first stroke is on the bottom because when you duplicate, it's like stacking up. So I just want it to go up. I want each one to be on top of the last one. So I will have it be ascending. And then I'll have all of my layers selected and I'll hit this little arrow and then it just like pops them there. It's hard to see because the colors are all the same, but you can see the keyframes are all offset, the layers are offset. So I'll just go in and I like just quickly put all the swatches in a library because I do this a lot where I'll just use the eyedropper when I'm changing the stroke colors. And if I have palettes for my different projects, I usually make a palette in here. I have a ton of different libraries for like all of my work projects.
Nice.
So I'll go back to this one. Well, it's already in there too, but maybe make this one. Love this red. Did it take? Yeah.
The colors can't be tied. Can you have global colors in After Effects?
There's a plugin that does that. If I So what you mean basically is like, you know, you're linking back to this one color. So if you change the original color, all those colors will change.
Yeah.
There's a plugin that does that. That's Ray Dynamic Color, and it's really great actually. There aren't that many instances where I have like a last minute color change on my project, so I don't use it as much as I used to.
Yeah.
But it is really fantastic if that is something that's gonna happen. You're like, oh, we're gonna get rid of this blue and everything's gonna be green now. It's, you know, set up through expression so that everything that you made that's blue, all you have to do is change that color one time in like the central swatch comp, and it'll ripple through all your projects. So that's something that's cool just to look up.
Yeah, I like it. Thanks for hanging out with us, Jimmy, as well. And Ashley says you're really helping a lot of us here.
Oh, awesome.
And I think it's just fun to watch you as a professional, working professional, doing After Effects, almost like a dream job, and just getting to learn from you. Even this, it seems, it actually is kind of simple, and already it seems like way cool. Ooh, this is a good thing. So we only did one of those strokes.
Yeah, I actually don't know how that happened, and I just backed out of it, but that's the thing with two strokes in here, there technically are two stroke colors, I think. Let's see. Yeah, so if I have this highlighted and I type in color in the bar, it'll pull up the swatches, and there are two, and I'm pretty sure if you don't have each one individually selected, and I just have this layer selected and I change the color, you know, it changes the whole thing.
Yeah.
But if I went down to like stroke one and changed this, yeah, so you see how that one's still in there and it's still blue. So we don't want that. We want them to be the same color, but that is a level of control that you do have if that's something that you would want to do. And so I have colored these. Now this this was kind of a placeholder, and now it's going to end up being like a mask for all of these strokes. And so we don't want to actually see it in here. I'm gonna throw it on the bottom, and I'll turn it off, the visibility, which like, so just for demonstrative purposes, if you have, you know, I don't want to see this A anymore, you can just turn it off with a little eyeball. It's pretty, you know, they have these in like the layers and Photoshop and everything like that. So it's still there, you just can't see it, which is ideal for us.
And typically, can you isolate by holding down the Option key and clicking on the eyeball?
Can you?
No, I guess not. Like, how do you hide all the other layers except for that one?
Yeah, so there is soloing, and it has it's this little dot
that's
in this
what
column
you use instead. Okay, just if you wanted to isolate just that one.
And then you can solo multiple things. So if I want to see this one and just only one of the strokes, you know, every layer that I hit this little circle on will be visible to me, and it'll just exclude everything that you didn't turn on in that way. So I'm gonna get rid of this now.
And feel free to ask questions, by the way. Beck says, you know, you might think it's over your head. Feel free to like rewatch this, but like if you have any questions at all, because these are just separate layers, as if you're in Photoshop, you have all these layers, and then the keyframes indicate time.
And that's like, I remember when I started out learning After Effects, I was in a graphic design program where they didn't teach After Effects, and so I felt super lost, and it was so complicated, and I did things in just like, you know, ways that were just not, like I was just like throwing stuff at the wall to see what sticks. It was very overwhelming, but a lot of it is really just learning the shortcuts or the menu, or just like how the basics of the software works, and then it kind of becomes clear. It took me a while, you know, being in After Effects every day to really feel like I knew it well. But it's, you know, it's just one of those things that like is maybe kind of freaky at first, but like, it's not that scary once you're like in it.
Yeah. I agree. Like, I think, admittedly, when you open up anything for the first time, looking at this, I'm like, what? There's so many little buttons and switches. Yeah,
there's a lot of buttons and switches. And I use a lot of third-party plugins, too, which makes it seem like, oh my God, there's so much. But it's really just something you get a handle on over time.
Yeah, and really we're focusing on one area, which is really just what is it? Oh, the timeline down here.
Right.
Right. And animating those properties. That is it. So
I hope I'm not gonna, you know, if you have any questions at all, please.
And I love what you're
throw
doing,
them in the chat.
Your whole idea was, hey, I have this logo, I need to bring excitement to this like one letter, which really could do this with anything. you're showing us how you can take one object and animate one property, and then you just duplicated that across 5 different times. So I think it looks like it got really complex really fast, but all you did is animate one thing.
Right, and that's the magic of After Effects too. Like, you know, it starts with little things and like layering them and, you know, building on top of them until you have something that looks really complex or sometimes is really complex.
Yeah. Exactly. Oh, Alex, I'm glad you bring that up. Janina, Blue took a crash course online and then blew his mind how actually easy After Effects is once you get used to it. And that pretty much goes for anything, but like we were talking about earlier, like, you know, I used After Effects a long time ago, like 20 years ago. The fundamentals have not changed.
Right.
And it's so comforting to see, you know what? The basics are still there. I could pick this up after 20 years and still understand how to use it, provided I'm not at your level for sure.
I don't know. Let's have an
You wanna
animate off.
Okay, I'd be like, mine would be the traditional bouncy ball, but it would stick. I don't know.
That's unexpected. That's, you know,
It would go bloop, bloop,
you win.
bloop. It would be like I don't know, something would be wrong with it. Keep in mind you can get involved. About 30 minutes, we're gonna review the entries for our design challenge contest. We're giving you assets. We're trying to make it as easy on you as possible, but allowing you to have some fun. And that's what the challenge tab is all about.
So shall I show you how to mask this? Are people ready for this?
You're gonna mask this?
Okay. So if we go back, I don't know if Paul's ready.
Okay, I think I'm ready.
I don't know if you are.
Zoom it, do lots of zooming in.
Y'all ready?
Whoa, whoa.
So I want to show you in the original one really quickly what is happening. And I need to turn this effect
And
back
Bill
on.
and whoever's just joining us, again, we animated this stroke in the shape of an A, and now you have the A on top. That's the top layer. Okay, now just do your thing.
So yeah, okay. I'm going to turn all of these off. So this is the original stroke from the original comp. And what I did was I put an effect on it that lets me use the letter form of the A. Oh, here it is. This letter form, this shape. And I'm going to use that as like a matte that will kind of contain the stroke in it and make it the right shape that it needs to be.
Like, I understand layer masks and clipping masks.
So
is this related to
It's similar to that. It's
okay.
it's a super easy way to kind of get started with this. So I'm gonna turn this one on really quick. No, I'm gonna turn this one on. Yeah, because these are all right. Do this on one. Maybe do it on a colored one so you can kind of see it better.
You. Yeah, that's.
So yeah, this is with the matte effect, and this is without it.
How did you get that matte effect? Sorry.
So it is in the effects. It will not be in here originally.
Can you remove it and just add it?
Yeah.
Thank you.
So this is, the stroke unaffected, and I'm going to go to my effects and presets panel, which if you don't have that visible, you can turn it on in here under window, effects, presets. I think it's usually there in the default layout of After Effects. And then I'm going to type in set matte, and that'll find the set matte effect. And with the stroke layer highlighted, I think I can double click this.
And add it to whatever's selected.
Yeah, so now, if I'm on stroke, well, it's there. It'll be on the layer. And what you're gonna wanna do is this take matte from layer. Whoop.
Oh yeah, thank you.
What's up? You'll go here, and I wanna use the A layer. So I will click that. Boom. So I was zoomed in, so I'm gonna unzoom. So if I don't have this, I'm gonna do that again. So I don't have any effect. I get set matte for my effects and presets. I'm gonna go over here to take matte from layer and make it the A. So basically what this is doing is it's an effect that's on the stroke layer that's looking at the A, which is on its own layer, and it's a shape layer. And it uses that to just kind of cut it out. JC's asking why not use your type layer as a silhouette blend mode on top. I don't know that he's asking it to make it less complicated, and I don't really know if it is less complicated. I'll show you how to do that.
And plus, I think that's okay if you're just dealing with this one project on black.
Right.
So it might not be as flexible, but yeah, that's a good. That's what I like. I like where he's headed though.
Yeah,
because I feel like there are different ways to mask.
And this
out
won't
things.
work in all cases. I will say, set matte is amazing. It can be a really great effect. There are instances where it won't work, and it's part of it is a trial and error thing. It seems to really work when you're using shape layers as mattes. But let's say if I drop in an Illustrator file and I'm using that in After Effects, it's not a shape layer. It tends to not work because of sizing issues, so it'll just look strange.
I don't know. I think we have this new person. What is his name? Paco Siller? Is that who that is?
That doesn't sound like anyone I know.
Welcome, buddy. Glad to have you. But using Alpha Matte.
Yes, and I will show that because why I'm using set matte is I can just copy this set matte effect that I put on here that's set to A and just paste it on every other stroke.
And you just do a shift select paste.
Yeah, so I just select every other layer, paste it on there. I think I need to have the effect on.
I love it when Paco chimes in because it gets really. That's when you
Where
know.
are you? Where is this?
That's when you know it's getting
from?
good. When we capture his attention, we're onto something.
Yeah, I'm feeling good about this. This blew my mind when I figured it out. I can't remember. Somebody told me about it.
This is so amazing. It looks so good, and it looks almost like an effect that it's like fun to play with. The way you stack them, the colors that you use.
Yeah.
You're not cycling through any colors. You're animating a stroke size.
Yes, and it's just literally layers on top of layers. So all the layers are still here, and I can turn them off one by one and go down the stack, and they're all kind of hanging out here. But this is just a quick way to get, a flush of color. It just comes on super fast, and you don't really have to worry about.
I think you're slowly mesmerizing everybody. Yes.
I'm sorry. I hope this isn't.
Caitlin, we will join the Avengers.
And
I don't know what we could do there.
One thing, I'm gonna take the set mattes off of all of these, and there is a way to take all of the effects off, but I can't remember. Okay, so if you do, this is just a random tip. I don't want to dwell on it super long, just because you'd have to set it up and demonstrate it again. But if you have a bunch of effects like set matte on layers and you don't want those anymore, you just highlight all of those and hit Command-Shift-E. No? What did I do? I just did. It is Command-Shift-E. Okay.
And that's for removing, just like applying effect would be probably Shift-E or something.
I think for applying effects, you have to select it individually because there's so many different ones. So I think that's the only way that you can do that. But this is just, I have a bunch of set mattes, I don't need them, and I'll just highlight all, Command-Shift-E, just throws them in the trash.
But Command-E or one of those probably applies the last effect.
Does it?
I mean, it does in Photoshop.
I don't know if that's the same here, but I am not 100% positive if anyone knows that.
So,
jump up in that chat.
Yeah. And that's right, A is for Anna. We're going to be animating Anna's name. Welcome.
Get ready.
If we did animate anybody's name, it would be hers. It's 3 letters.
Exactly the right length.
And only two are different. So yes, maybe, yeah.
So one thing that JC was mentioning, and this is another way to do it, is using track mats, which are in these little drop downs here. So track mat, and it's these guys here. So alpha mats, that's something that I use a lot of the time. If set matte doesn't work or if it doesn't make sense. Mike is saying also, can't you pre-comp those layers and just add a single effect? And you're super correct, Mike. This is something that I just kind of did not think about as I was barreling through all of these letters. So yes.
And that's okay, because I think as you work, you this happens with everything. You end up duplicating, and then you end up with a lot of layers. So yeah, I think sometimes with enough foresight, but I don't usually do it. It's like making symbols in Illustrator or something.
Yeah, I like that you pointed that out too, though, because some stuff it's if I know how to do it fast, I'm just not going to worry about it, and I just do whatever works. Because at the end of the day, if it looks right, if it looks good, it's working. You do want to get into good habits and build things more efficiently, label all of your layers and all of your pre-comps and have a good folder structure, all of that stuff, and I do strive for that, so that is a good point. But it helps, I think, just to get past kind of the intimidating factor of After Effects is like, you know, am I doing this right? Like, am I doing this the best way? I have done that so many times.
Yeah, and it's funny. It's only like after you're done with it do you realize, oh, I could have done it that.
Right.
It's fine. It's already done at that point.
Yeah.
I'd say as long as while you're doing it, you're using sound effects. Voodoo Val mentions she was really learning. It helps. I noticed actually when people do animation, they have more of a tendency to be like, like add the sound effects.
I work from home, so like I get to do that a lot with literally.
Your rats are like, enough with the sound
My
effects.
rats are like, where's food? Can we go?
Does that mean food?
But yeah, so if I pre-comped these, and somebody did ask what a pre-comp
exactly,
is,
thank you.
So this is a great segue into that. Pre-comping, I don't know the best way to kind of elevator pitch this, but in a way, it's a good way to organize your project, and it's like putting things in their own little folders in a way where they're self-contained. And I guess if I just show you, like we're in a pre-comp right now. This A is a pre-comp. So this, where I have all of the elements of this animated logo, would be like the master comp, where, you know, this is what I'm rendering out as the final. And it's, you know, if I had everything all inside this one comp, just like every layer, it could get really hectic, and it also might make things harder to animate properly. It just depends. So, you know, you can see there's like a decent amount of layers in here. Well, I've seen a lot more, but let's hit the tilde key.
I'm sure you have.
I've seen a lot. But these are like a bunch of layers. So these ones here with this little symbol, these are pre-comps, and that means basically that they're not just a layer.
It's like a smart object in Photoshop.
Yeah, that's a good example.
Photoshop file inside of a Photoshop file. So.
Yeah, and it has a bunch of layers in itself. It's not just.
I mean, why is it called a pre? I get it. Why is it called even? It's just a composition. You can just call it a comp.
Point.
Does it need to be pre-comp?
I don't know.
But it's fine.
We're gonna have to dig into the etymology on that. Do the research. Let us know. Pre is the guy who invented that. They're his comps.
Pre.
Maybe. So like, you know, I have this A, I have all the stroke layers in here, and yeah, I want to make it more efficient. I want to only use set matte effect one time, or maybe just use a track matte. So I can just highlight all of these, like holding down Shift and clicking here. And it's Command Shift C will bring up this pre-compose window, and I'll call this like a pre-comp because I'm very clever. And so it's all in here, you know, but it's not being masked out by the A, so it's just the strokes. So one way now, instead of using set matte, we can use track matte. So I'll turn my A layer back on. It's still in here. I'm gonna set the opacity up to 100. And so we go back to this track matte section on the A pre-comp, and we do alpha matte. You're getting this basically visually the same result that we were getting before.
Where's that alpha matte again? Sorry.
It is right here.
Oh. And this is what's interesting because it's below. What layer did you do that on?
I did it on the A pre-comp layer where all of our strokes are.
Where all the strokes are.
Although I think I'm testing something, so nobody pay too close of attention. Yeah, no, that didn't work. Or did it? No, it didn't. Okay. This is something that I never retain, and I always am like fudging around, but there are different, oh yeah, like, so if I wanted it to be the other way for some reason, if you do alpha inverted, that means that it's like, it's cutting out the A part instead.
Can you, not to make this confusing, thank you, that's exactly what I was gonna.
I got you, Paul.
You go, we got it.
So yeah, this is the transparent background instead of, you know, you can see it on black or on transparent. And so this is with the alpha matte, this is what we want, but if you did alpha inverted, it would just reverse it and it would cut the A out of the stroke layer.
And the top layer is the A?
Yes, in both instances.
It's just weird that it's, why is it applying, I think you'd do it on the actual layer. I think the order and what, let me just.
Yeah, basically what it is like whatever layer is on the bottom is the one that you're gonna see. I don't know if that's a hard and fast rule, but so if I do A and it's underneath the pre-comp and the pre-comp is on top now, if I have A on the bottom and I do the alpha matte, let's see, if I move the pre-comps, the stroke, this is a little visually confusing, but basically what is happening is you can see the A layer. You are not seeing the stroke layer. The stroke layer is just what's showing. It's just what's like allowing the sections of A to be visible.
Yeah.
It's something to play around with.
Because again, the pre-comp is the animation.
Yes, the pre-comp is what we want to see. I need to center this again.
I'm also just kind of thinking of how to wrap this into like a Photoshop terminal, like how Photoshop does things.
And I'm not as well versed with the Photoshop stuff, so it's hard.
Yeah.
For me to make the association.
But no, I get it. This seemed super simple, so I thank you for whoever recommended it. I really appreciate all the really smart people that people who know After Effects.
I know JC is being incredibly helpful. So if you pay attention to his comments in the chat, and he mentioned that track mats it's like a cookie cutter. Like the cookie cutter is on the top and the thing is on the bottom.
Oh, that's
that's a really good analogy.
Thank you. That is good. Thank you, JC. Thank you, Kendall has experience as well. Of course, Andrew and Reese hopefully still here. There we bang on. Gotcha.
Sarah Tester's asking if the child-parent relationship matters.
It always matters. Just in general, it always is important.
But I'll note, neither of these is like a parent of none of these are parented to each other. It doesn't exactly linked. Yeah, it doesn't work the same way in Cinema 4D.
But either way, I love the dough metaphor is the best. The cookie cutter.
Yeah, that was great. That was super helpful.
High five. I know it's a wave, but I feel like giving you a high five with your little icon there. Actually, it's probably right over here. I'm trying to think about where it's on the screen.
We'll talk.
All right.
Does anyone ever have any other questions about stuff like that, or? I kind of have a similar thing going on with the Y I can dive into.
I love this. That'd be great. First looking at this, I think, oh, this is so complex. We're never going to get to this. I already understand how the A's done, so I feel super empowered.
I have trained you.
You have. Now,
who knew?
Don't ask me to do anything, by the way, because that's I don't know if I'm ready for a test.
Far be it from me.
But I love that A coming in, that exciting part. You could see, if you could actually open up the Y, I think that would be fun because it's done in a similar fashion.
Let's dive in. And it's worth noting, the Y is not in its own pre-comp. The Y is here. This is the Y on its own layer. I'm going to put it back where it was. I'm using an alpha mat, so if we zoom in here, whoop, I don't want to cut the whole thing off. So here's the star layer. You can see.
I want to know where that animation, the star animation's coming from. Is it an effect?
Oh, wait, oops. Yeah, I'll correct.
Ooh.
I just want to show you, this is an alpha. So the star is in its own pre-comp.
Yeah.
Do you?
No, wait.
Guess.
Well, yeah.
Guess first and then we go.
Okay, well, we know it's in its own pre-comp, therefore we know the animation of all the stars are in there.
True. Boom, and they're unlabeled, which is terrible.
But it's glorious.
But there it is.
Plus, I'm I never. Life's too short to name layers. We all know this, right?
This isn't true. Okay, so.
You're not sharing this with me. It's not like you're going to be on Adobe Live or something sharing this with the world. I
included this as a very critical example of bad After Effects etiquette.
Yeah,
I'm so glad that I did that intentionally.
What not to do.
So in a better world, I would have labeled all of these.
What I love about this is, and me, you probably don't reuse animations because you're so fast. But I think this is so cool. I'd be like, oh, I'm going to use this other places.
I'd sometimes do that.
Okay.
I will never indicate when or where, but if you guess,
then
you have won. You will be my heir.
We will give you a golf clap.
If you can find my national treasure of reused animations. So this is very similar in a lot of ways to the A, and I'm going to turn off everything except the very first OG star layer, which, as you can see, is gray. Take careful note of this. I colored these with an effect, which I will show you. So this is one star, and it's just scaling up, and that is it. That is the only thing that's going on here.
That's the only, you just have that one layer on.
Yeah, so I got one keyframe. I spiced it up with some easing, but that's it, and then I duplicated it.
Using probably your plugin.
No, it's Command D. Command D, baby. It just, now I have
Okay,
like
you
a million
did
stars.
Okay.
But yes, I offset it using that. So start out with one layer, duplicated it a bunch of times, and then so it would have been like so, and then I would have gone to Rift. I just 2 frames, ascending, boom.
Do you feel like somebody's like looking through your like dresser drawer or something, like when we open up a pre-comp or something?
I don't know.
Like, I gotta straighten, or like they're in your room. Let me straighten things up.
That is kind of it. I have seen
like, I got these dirty socks out.
I feel a little bit better because I have seen some like pretty horrifying After Effects project file, and like even if it doesn't happen, you kind of want to get into the mindset if you're like a motion graphics person that somebody at some point is going to get into your file, because if you're a freelancer, you're working in a studio, usually you're not working totally by yourself. I am, but I think that's pretty rare actually. Like I tend to just basically handle every aspect of my projects from start to finish, but I don't think that's super common. And so just like labeling things as stringently as you have time to do and kind of organizing them can be really beneficial if somebody else is going to dive into your files, because it can be hard to orient yourself in someone else's project files. I've heard somebody describe it as like looking into someone else's brain. And that is so accurate. Like you're getting a kind of a look into how somebody else's like mind palace is built.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. And I still kind of like the sort of the room metaphor. As you go in there, you're like, where do you keep your socks? I don't know what drawer your socks are in.
Could be
but
anywhere.
I'll be like looking through all your drawers. Where are socks?
You might find things you don't want to find.
I won't go there. I don't know what that means. I do, however, you could find a shirt in there just to bring it back around to civility.
You could find a shirt. I didn't specify.
It could have gone a weird way.
But just what if you
find in your room?
Socks in the pants drawer? It's nonsense.
You're crazy.
See?
You're so crazy.
How silly are we, guys?
You're so silly.
Pretty silly. Okay.
I actually do have a shirt that says "Life's too short to name layers" that I made.
You're gonna have to
I'm a nerd.
You're gonna have to get rid of that shirt.
Life's too short to name layers.
As long as you're not wearing it on this live stream.
Guess what? I didn't even name the file. I just said it's probably called shirt final. I promise this time to
This is a
.psd.
Disregard all of this content.
Sorry about that,
everyone.
Justin, thank you so much for getting us back on track, at least in one way. The challenge is actually the challenge tab. So you can see right over there, up there, it says challenge right next to chat, and it's all about, here you can see Zoop challenge. We're making a festival ticket. You can use these assets, check out this design brief. In 15 minutes, we're gonna review those designs. And tonight, we're gonna pick a winner that will get Creative Cloud announced tomorrow morning. So
pretty sweet, y'all.
Dive into that.
So we got a bunch of duplicated stars. They are staggered throughout time. You can only see one right now because I didn't turn them back on, but I'm gonna do that. Boop. Okay, again, I want to point out that when I don't have this layer on, everything is black and white. What?
Yeah, this is fascinating. Okay.
So there's not a lot of...
Wait, how are they just black and white though?
I went through and on each layer I just changed it randomly.
Okay. You're like, I want it to be different, but I don't know what the colors I want them to be just yet.
So what's the best way to dive into this? First I will say, okay, I have this colorama layer. You can see it here. Whoop. This is called an adjustment layer. And basically what that is like, if I delete colorama off of here, this is like an empty layer. There's nothing on it, but if you put an effect on this layer, it's going to, that effect will affect all of the layers that are underneath it. And I believe it has a size.
Just like in Photoshop. So this totally makes sense.
It's just like an adjustment layer in Photoshop. You just got, yes, Photoshop. Crushing it. So I can add, I deleted it, but I added colorama, which is an effect that I got out of the effects and presets panel. Colorama.
And this is a built-in
yes.
built-in effect.
Yeah, this is just in After Effects, and what colorama does is let you do some fun, weird color stuff. And you can get pretty crazy with it. I just wanted it to kind of randomly throw some colors onto these grayscale stars. There's, a bunch of different ways to do similar stuff like this, but I just adding kind of an element of randomness to it that when I did the A, I, chose each stroke color. So I deliberately went in and specifically set, this one will be this color, this one will be that color. In a way I did this, but I just, it was easy for me to just be like, black, like light gray, just going through the stars and changing the colors.
And that's good because you're kind of identifying values, but you're not confined to a specific color at this point.
Right.
Because you want to change it.
Yeah.
And you definitely want it to be consistent. And that's what Colorama does. It allows you picked like 3 colors.
Yeah, so those are 3 colors that I grabbed out of the swatch palette. I can add more if I want to, because this color wheel is what has them. So I can just add, if you click anywhere on here, I can, eyedrop like this light blue, and it's gonna add a light blue on there. And it may or may not show up, depending where it is on the wheel and what values you have represented. But you can see, as I drag this around, it's kind of replacing the red there. So you can do a lot of different stuff with this. I like to use Colorama to color noise maps because it's black and white, and you can do a lot of, you can get a lot of different grayscales in it, and you can it's just something you can play around with. There's a lot of stuff you can do that's really cool in After Effects because you just sit with an effect and you just play with it. And you get to know it better, and maybe, you make something awesome.
That's funny. It does look like it kind of does have
It looks like a clown star.
That's a good point, and that's what's nice about this is you could always change it. You can,
Yeah,
again.
Clown Star was actually David Bowie's last album, so.
Wow, bringing
Clown
it back.
Star, yeah.
Something like that, is that right?
It's Black Star.
It's
Black
Black
like the
Star.
opposite of Clown Star. But I just thought it would be something fun to play around with, and hopefully it doesn't look as clowny in context.
See, and this is absolutely what I love about what you're doing, because you graduated with a graphic design degree. Right, and this is a graphic designer using After Effects. Graphic designers, I think they just make the best animators.
I
right?
agree. Well, I am biased, but
you know that even the fact that you know that it looks like a clown star, you know these things as a designer. You're like, that looks clownish.
It does
I don't
look
know
clownish.
something about it. Blah blah blah.
Or
It doesn't really matter because here it doesn't. But that's all I'm saying is this alone is a cool piece of art that you are bringing to life. So I like it.
Thank you, Kevin. Kevin just said something nice about me in the chat. Kevin is cool.
Exactly.
Thank you, Kevin.
Yes. Kevin, good man.
Hopefully we get to hang again. And yeah, if you want to unclown it, that is something that you can do by noodling around with the colors, because it's the colors that are really, stars are a little bit of a clownish shape too, but you can just tweak it if you're like, ooh, that does not look, kind of as serious as I was hoping, or what have you. Just something to play around with. Boom. So, Colorado, there's a lot you can get in with, ooh, it's an IKEA star now. I like that. Okay. We're going with that.
And then I did hear, Target. Target stores too earlier or something.
Oh.
Anyways, doesn't matter.
I'll take it. Target, it's fine.
Wait, hold on. Anna's blowing my mind right now. Technically, David Bowie was a graphic designer. He studied graphic design?
I actually did not know that.
Come on.
Well, he did when he was...
Where's Christine Arth? She would know the answer to this. I feel like
I'm sure he did because he did when he was a little bit older. At the end of his teen years, I want to say. I don't know. I love David Bowie, but I'm not a formative expert.
Yeah, we like his music. Don't know if we're historians.
No, typically not. So yeah, I guess I'll leave it at this color scheme right now. But it's basically the same thing as I didn't have to worry about any masking because it's literally already the star shape. And so what I ended up doing was, because I wanted it to, end on white to match the rest of the logo, I put a white star on top of the Colorama layer. Because if I put it, ooh, actually, I wonder, yeah, no. Okay, if I put it under the Colorama layer, it would have a color, but since it's above the adjustment layer, it just stays white. And that's what I want. I want it to end on that. And then that is all in this pre-comp, which is being masked out by the Y. So if I go to this track matte for the star pre-comp and I put no track matte, you're gonna get this weird thing, which is not what we want. Shout out to everybody that said a nice thing about me. It actually is really, I hope this is helping in any way. And honestly, I mean, I'm always down to talk about this stuff. So if you do have any questions, even after this, like look me up on Twitter or send me an email. Like katecadieux.com has all my stuff. Like just reach out because I guarantee you I will get back to you.
Yeah,
so I'm going to put that alpha mat back on.
So Ryland's asking, 2 people competing in the competition or hosting it? Yeah, I'm doing all this cool graphic work, and Caitlin's just sitting here.
That's true, actually.
Just joking.
None of this was me. I'm making it up.
I'm the host. She's the expert. She's killing it. Everybody's getting involved. We want to give you a warm welcome, Ryland. But essentially, we have a challenge, submission deadlines down to less than 8 minutes. So everybody's kind of participating as well. So, all right. Thank you, Rocky.
Yeah, Rocky, thank you. And JC says that he's waiting for the segment where they say mean things, but please don't because I'm very sensitive and I'm just here to help.
Yeah, you already got a little sensitive about this clown star.
The clown
You're like,
star.
I better change the
You know
colors.
what though? That was a good criticism, and
I thought it was
needed to
on
be changed.
point.
That was good client feedback.
Yeah.
And I don't remember who pointed it out first, but thank you.
Yeah, and that is really good. I mean, but it's good that's probably a designer that says, hey, you know, this resembles this, and it maybe on purpose, may not be.
Yeah.
David Bowie obviously used lots of various stars. You know, Ziggy Stardust, star on his latest Black Star album, obviously. You used it in here for this music festival, and then we have a fun eye just because we can, which actually seems like it has some bending going on. I don't know if we probably don't have time to.
Yeah, I might save the eye for tomorrow.
I think you should. I'm kind of curious about that T.
The T. It's relatively simple. Let's crack open the pre-comp for T because it's in its own pre-comp. And now we're in. So I'll just play it in here a couple times. And I just thought, you know, this would be a fun way. I just wanted to sneak that lightning bolt in there in the letters. Anna, thank you for... David Bowie went to Bromley Technical High School where he studied art, music, and design, including layout and typesetting.
Yeah, I was just reading that too. Thank you so much for whoever posted that link earlier. I'm actually looking at that article as well. Because I was curious. And it was actually kind of encouraging to hear that, like, they were like, well, he was like, maybe he wasn't the best designer. He was really strong with typesetting, some layout, but music was his awesome passion. I'm like, you can only be so good at so many things that makes me feel bad.
I know.
I'd be really disappointed if he's like also a really good baker.
I mean, we don't know that for a fact that he wasn't.
Yeah, he is probably really good at baking. He could do like the Great British Bake Off and win it.
There's only one way to find out. We're gonna have to bring him back.
Yeah.
So if anyone knows how to do it. I just wanted to Google that eye really quickly because I did not do the graphics, but I know that they were pulled from some Black Star stuff, and I guess it's not exactly the same, but it's pretty similar.
Okay, same thing with the eye. Okay, I didn't know the eye was in there.
David Bowie loved Target. And he shopped there every day.
There we go.
It's on his...
And again, like we're equating all these things. This is like a traditional, you know, 5-point star too that you're basically...
Yeah,
using.
it's pretty simple.
It's, you know.
So here we have...
What? Freddie Mercury discovered graphic design too? Are you pulling my leg?
I kind of believe
I'm like so happy to be in such a, you know,
so
part of such a swanky group.
When you drop in your album, Paul?
I don't know.
When's the album dropping?
No, I don't know. I hope I do drop it on the floor and break it.
But you would have had to make it first.
Yeah, I would. I do think most graphic designers are connoisseurs of music. This is amazing. Look at this.
Boom. T.
I don't even know if I noticed that in the original animation.
And it does go by pretty quickly.
And that's what's fun about this. There's lots of things that you can enjoy. It takes a couple viewings.
Yeah, like something that I like to do about motion graphics. I mean, I'm not going to pretend like, oh, I'm, you know, the best expert at doing this, but it's fun to just like layer in a bunch of detail like that.
Yeah.
Because ideally it would be something that people like to look at for, you know, multiple times.
And how do you decide on, because I think graphic design is a lot about like simplicity too. Do you ever find yourself, because I don't know, what's your thoughts on simplicity?
As we stare at this very complicated.
But it's actually like, it's fairly simple and fairly graphic.
It's a good question. I guess And I'll add a little asterisk on this, that for this one, a lot of it was me, playing around and trying to do a fun thing. And like, I don't know that this would be something that I would have sent off as a final.
Here's the, yeah. No, I think it's awesome. And I think this is where you as a designer kicked in, because design's all about leading the eye, and it's all using that motion, because you're leading the eye into the AYOT. So your focus is always on one single thing, and I think designers make the mistake of ignoring focus.
Right.
And you're leading the eye through motion, is what you're doing as a motion designer.
So let's say, like, it's possible that this would have been a lot different, because to me, I'm like, I'm gonna animate the logo, but I don't necessarily have like a client card that's like, this is gonna be on social media and it needs to do X, Y, Z, and that can affect how you approach something, because if this was gonna be like a Twitter post or something, it might even be more simple. Maybe take out some of the background elements, or like maybe reduce the colors, and maybe it doesn't have as much going on. And so, a lot of this is like, I'm playing around. I just, what's fun, what would be fun to like go through the process of making. And so the timing could change depending on what it is. But that is something I thought about, is like, animate on, in order, instead of having, and you can do that too. Like, if it feels appropriate to whatever you're animating, it might make sense to have it animate on like YTAO, whatever. But just, in this instance, I thought this made more sense.
Yeah, and I honestly think if you took this animation and had everything come on at the same time, wouldn't be nearly as strong. It would just, I wouldn't know what to look at.
Right.
So.
Yeah, it is. It's about balance, and you don't want to do too much. And this applies to every aspect of this too, because like composition matters. I didn't necessarily, again, didn't design this, and it was relatively easy for me to like front and center. But if you're doing like a video, deciding what's on screen, when and where, and how big it is, even if you have just like one element on screen, like that does matter. And there's not necessarily wrong answers. But, a piece can be a lot stronger or weaker depending on what you decide to do.
And that's honestly like get other people's advice. Because if everybody was like, oh, this looks like a circus something, who knows what. If a lot of people are saying something, they're probably onto something.
That's true. Yeah. And that can actually be tough. This is unrelated to just MoGraph skill, but taking feedback like that, I mean, it can be hard when you're starting out, because you don't want to be too attached to it. But if everybody's saying your logo animation looks like a clown car, and it's not a clown festival logo, then maybe you do want to take a look at why that is, like what elements about it are making it appear that way. I guess that's kind of a graphic designer training kicking in there.
Yeah. No, I agree. And yeah.
Are we winding down?
Yeah, I was
Time-wise?
I was gonna answer a question.
JC is making a good point that sometimes you can see one thing in something and other people see something completely different, and that's true. There have been historical examples, where somebody sees maybe some like inappropriate imagery or something in. Disney has had this happen a couple of times, where there's like some questionable content that seems to appear in it, and I think sometimes that can happen because people just aren't. You need fresh eye. Everybody needs fresh eyes on stuff. Like at the very least, people will be like, "Oh, it looks fine. Like everything's." But if you stare at something for a super long time, you might not see like the glaringly obvious. This clearly looks like XYZ.
And then you just feel like you kind of feel like an idiot.
Kind of, but it's like it happens to everybody, I think, and that's why it's always important to get that feedback and to take it in stride, because anybody, can do that.
Yeah, no, we're into it. So time is up. If you're ready, I think this animation's awesome. I can't wait to dive into more of it and see this project expand.
I'll try to get some expression stuff in there too, and if anybody wants to go over anything specific, get at it in the chat, and I'll try to prep some stuff for that.
Expressions have been mentioned, and I'm just super thrilled to have such talented people watching as well, and also submitting designs. So here we have, just so you know how to get to this, by the way, we'll go over here, challenge tab. It is this link. That's how the designs have been submitted. If you go there, you're gonna have this view gallery. So that's essentially what we're doing right now, but we wanna give you a shout out And also if you know you have any advice for any of these. And again, I'm always impressed. Looks like we have quite a few. We'll go clear down to here. So we have about probably 13, I think, or 14. And Darren Woolen. And by the way, the assets, just to kind of compare them to what they were given all these. So, which honestly are already really strong.
Yeah.
You know, at some point, maybe less design is more, you know, because what's been designed already is super cool. So, Darren Woolen. Looks cool.
Yeah, I like that you did it so simple because this is very, like, it reminds me, it's very Black Star inspired. That was like the whole thing was like black and white, it's flat graphics, very simple. I'm not 100% sure, but it kind of looks like the logo is a little stretched horizontally. It's a little hard for me to tell.
Yeah, and then it's always tough. I was always told, like, you could have things tight but not touching. So the fact that it's touching right there, you know, might be kind of like an issue. It's not that big of an issue for me because visually, this is another thing. Visually, I think this is centered, you know, whether it technically isn't, but visually it is.
I think maybe it would have been, I know you probably want the logo to be big, but a lot of the times it doesn't need to be kind of a major, the star and the logo are kind of competing with each other actually.
And technically the star isn't even in the center. And you are right. It's all about leading your eye. I see this, see that. But yeah, good job. Let's move on. Next one. Here we are. Ryan Nelson. Again, the whole idea is to design a ticket for this Are You Out There music festival. Sweet.
I like that you used the two different eyes there.
Yes.
Much like Bowie himself. I like that a lot.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, I
think it's fun.
The different typefaces too. I know the 8 and the 9 are like a little bit off kilter, I think. I might like tighten that up.
I like how it kind of wraps around this space. I think they made pretty good use of the space here.
Yeah, I actually really like too the use of the lightning as kind of this element on the right side where it's repeated throughout. I think that was a pretty fun usage of that. Yes,
very cool. Ryan Nilsson, great job. Let's move on to this next one. Alex M-A-C-C-I Mackey went overboard. Oh, love it.
Yeah, that's some really cool artwork.
Adding a different element, really fun. Oh, I love this accent of red.
Yeah, the color uses, or the lack thereof, I guess, really. That's really nice. And I like that it's busy, but it doesn't feel busy.
Mm-hmm.
Like it doesn't feel overwhelming.
The squiggles are a fun element in general, in contrast to these sharp edges and stuff like that. That's pretty cool. They almost seem like, could they have been maybe little zigzags? Could they emphasize lightning or something like that?
Yeah, that would have been
neat. But look at this. I mean, great stuff. Great use of color, the gradients, all that. Sweet
Yeah,
work.
It looks really nice.
Alex did great. Ann Tesla, thank you so much for joining us. Are You Out There Music Festival? Yeah.
I like it.
Cool.
Bright colors.
I think you have I think she has the basics down. I just say have some fun with it from here. I think this is a good starting point.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but like, you know, now offset it. It doesn't have to be in the center. Is it white? You just kind of play with it. And even if you think about a ticket, you're not always holding it this way. So you can have fun with rotating things around. And that's actually what she did in January. I love this layout. Like, this is nice and tight.
Yeah, that looks
cool.
That looks good. It's readable, and you don't feel like
you could never have too many hashtags.
Needs more hashtags.
Maybe a hashtag for more hashtags. All right, Alexander always does great work. Sure enough, went the extra mile. Shows it on images. We were just gonna do a ticket, but they're like, no, I'm doing a shirt. We were talking about shirts, and I think that's a great layout for a shirt.
It looks great. I love the using the colors in the lightning bolt. I think that looks. I think it looks really nice. Can. I love that can. I think the can looks super strong. I like the red on the top.
Yeah,
looks pretty awesome. And I like how clean it is. It's black and white with the like pop of neon color. I think it looks really very designed.
Just a fun tribute to the July 3rd, 1973 concert. Thank you for being so specific.
I missed that one.
I did. We were just
wasn't able to attend it.
Heather Vander. Oh, Heather,
wow.
you're killing it.
Really beautiful.
Again, some of this might have been submitted earlier, but
yeah, that's such a good iconic photo. So I really like seeing it.
I love
here.
I love the tint of the photo as well.
Mm-hmm.
I love the 3 different versions. Great composition, like the way his face fits right in there, and then it flows down.
Yeah.
This kind of does the same flowy thing. I don't have enough nice.
Yeah,
things
that
to
one's
say
super
about
strong.
this. Definitely a strong designer for sure. Even the setup, like the background. I put this in a Behance project, by the way. Yeah. Adibola?
I like that.
Yeah, this is fun.
I really like this, like using black and white with like a strong color.
Mm-hmm.
And the type layout is all really nice and clean.
It's interesting, the color kind of reminds me of something that's like a little bit like retro or something that I'd see in the 70s or something.
And I like that. It's hard to tie Bowie down because he like would change every decade, and was active for so long that you can't just be like, oh, like retro is Bowie. Like he also had a lot of different looks, but I like that appeal to that
and I like the
era.
I like the mobile and the printed ticket.
Yeah.
It's good. Covering all your bases. Alexander, the non-blurry version. We get it. We're still obsessed with this.
Can still looks good.
Can, yep. Can looks great. Juan Camilo Ramirez.
Oh, these are really fun.
Ooh, I want to like collect all of these.
Yeah.
You know?
The use of the photos here is really nice.
So much fun
and
to
the
look at.
colors are very good.
I would never lose my ticket. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I can't find, I'm sorry, I'm trying to get in, but I can't. No, you would always know where this ticket is because it's so rich and colorful and fun.
And again, I love it when people do a lot and like throw in a lot of colors and a lot of patterns and it doesn't look overwhelming. Because I don't think it does. I think it looks...
It's great. And you have everything right because like you don't really need the date and different things to stand out. Like you've already bought the tickets, you printed them out, you have everything, you know when it is. Now you're excited to hold this in your hand.
Yeah.
And
I like that each one is like a 2-day pass, like single pass.
Yeah,
I like
cool.
That.
Way to think through this, by the way. Like, I feel like people are really thinking through. So mobile, how would it look? Here's how some of this would look on a t-shirt. Sorry, did not. Where am I going? Hello. Get out of the way. Sorry. Those are just notes.
That was just our loading screen.
Fanny Esquivel also does the fun different tickets. Let's see if I can... Okay, so this is massively large, which is a good thing, so we could actually see this.
The typography is really nice. And I really like using the album covers. How many versions of there are in this? I know it was like a huge...
what do you...
Like she had a bunch of different ones like in...
Oh, yeah. Let's scroll down. Into it. I like how, she's not picking a color at random. It's
they are tied to the image, and it looks really nice.
And you're picking the right one. I like this. It's good. Mobile.
I like it. It's simple.
Into it. Great job, Fanny. Oh, there we go. Rolled into a Behance project. Perfect. Joe Atwood.
Wow.
This is fun. Yeah. A lot going on here. Good job.
Yeah, I like that lightning texture, getting some use in the background.
Super fun. You're never going to lose your 2-day pass if it's like tattooed on your arm.
You just slap it on there.
Which is great. What a great idea. Temporary tattoo.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Can't lose it.
What do I know?
Just scan the QR code.
Right. Denise Garay.
I really like the yellow one with the lightning bolt on it. There's,
yeah.
It just looks really good with the logo has it, you know, built into that flag on the bottom. And that looks really strong.
Thoughts on the blue? I think the blue works. It's obviously the complementary color. So yeah, the blue works.
Yeah, I think it's tough to pull off, but especially for the yellow, the main yellow one, I think it works. I think there's something about the red with the yellow on top of it that's a little harsher to look at. But I don't think that means that it's not working. I do think it's a tougher color combination to pull off.
Mm-hmm. And I agree to Ashi, these tickets do look like art. All right, sorry about that. Let's go back. Felix. Cool. Do you have a favorite out of these two?
I like the one. Is this like a front and back type of a thing?
Oh yeah, I guess it could be.
I think it might be. I mean, I like the one on the right. The one on the left feels like similar to some of the ones we've seen before, that it's like it's a good starting point, but I think it could be pushed a lot further. I still like everybody who's using the eyes, the two eyes like that. Mm-hmm. I like seeing that pop up. But the star just kind of feels like superfluous, really. Like it doesn't necessarily need to be there.
Yeah.
And I wonder if there's maybe a different way you could include it that would kind of mesh well with the design.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like this. This is I think probably the strongest part of these.
Yeah, actually, I love that. There's something about it. It looks very of the era.
Mm-hmm.
I like the texture overlaid on it. I think it looks really good.
Yeah, and it does, like you said, might look like a starting point for some of this. But you know, you work on it, and that's why we have these challenges. Like we hope the feedback is helpful. Massimiliano always does a good job.
I like it. I do notice though right away that the music festival part of the logo, you can't really read it.
Yeah, not at all.
I think if this was something that was like being physically printed, you would lose a lot of the detail.
And yeah, that's true for sure. And I think honestly, this would be better if there was only one eye. I would just have this eye right here. This would be the orange eye, and get rid of the other one.
Yeah.
Like it's almost like they're competing with each other. It's you know, yeah, I would definitely.
Yeah, I think you could simplify. Like it's one of those ones where, and that's a very valid approach to design, is like putting down a lot and then you start taking away, and you take away until you feel like it's got everything that it needs. Yeah. And I think that this might be one of those designs. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Excuse me. I agree. All right. This one's pretty good.
I love it. Oddfellows.
Wow. So the Adobe Live team, along with your help and the other designers, have to pick one ticket out of all of these. Adobe Creative Cloud. Yeah. Oh, trouble.
Super harsh.
Did you have one that you liked in particular? Like
I will ask really quickly, are there more coming in? Only I see a comment.
Oh, wait. Did we miss?
That says, for those of you submitted late.
If you refresh.
Oh, yeah. Sorry about that.
Will there be more? I want to peep everybody's ticket if
yeah,
possible.
throw this one. Oh, yeah. Boom. Robert's clap. Ooh, I love this, the 1 day pass, 2 day pass. I like the idea of making it a complete image.
And I like those colors because I like the retro vibe. I don't know if a lightning bolt and the QR code would work still, would it?
Oh no, it won't.
Yeah, I mean, I love the idea of that. I don't know if QR code technology has developed to that point.
I love the thought of like sort of David Bowie breaking a QR code just for fun. You know,
but it still works. Like, that's how he would do it.
Yeah,
he would just completely disrupt it and it would still function flawlessly.
Yeah, exactly. He would. But I think that this is a case where like there's a lot to focus on, and you need to like, what's my first read, second read, third read? It could just use a little more placement. But I agree with you. This is a fun font.
Yeah, and I would the price be on the ticket?
No.
I don't know that that's like
not unless you want to brag to your friends.
Right.
Look how much I paid.
It's almost like 2 day pass and.
Just Oh, I think this is really strong and really smart. This part, I like that.
Yeah.
Melting off.
And that was one of the things where I actually like that it's touching the edge like that.
Mm-hmm. And these are good little tips. Like, put this in your back pocket. cool idea, these ideas, because tomorrow there's going to be a different challenge. So it's good to think about some of this stuff for tomorrow as we expand out this
What is tomorrow's
theme.
challenge?
We can't tell you just yet.
Sorry, guys, I tried.
I'm sorry.
I tried to get
and
it.
it's not because I don't know.
I think there's 2 more. Is that right? Yeah.
JIDE.
I like this a lot. The guitar, though, feels like you don't even need it. It doesn't really feel like this says that it's a Bowie thing. Like, I think the one thing that's missing, where like the layout is good, and I think the colors work, and the eye with the texture in the background. But I wish there was something like even, and I had noticed this throughout where people are using the eye as a focal point, where it's like I want something a little more that screams like that this is a David Bowie thing.
Yeah,
Like
it's kind of like, this easily looks like, oh, it's a music festival, let me throw in a guitar.
Yeah.
You know, but I like the idea of the contrast of like almost like a photo. So I think it was successful when it was a photo of Bowie or a photo with graphic content.
Yeah. And I think that's what it's missing, because it's just like 100% Bowie, like you know, and we just want something that's more Bowie in there.
Yeah, good call. Roman Torres. Are you out there, Roman Torres? This
Please
is
respond.
Fun. I like just that little graphic.
Yeah, I like that too. And I like using this like faded pink.
Yeah.
That's kind of a nice color element. It feels like a lot of information for a ticket. I think that tab on the top right is pretty strong. But having like the paragraph written out on the back is maybe a bit too much.
Yeah. I think it's the first time I've seen I haven't seen a lot of the outlined font logo.
Yeah.
This outlined logo. And
that looks really nice.
So this is a smart thing that he did, is use that font. If this was all filled in, it would be way too strong.
I agree,
But since it's large and using that stroke, very cool.
It stands out.
How are we doing? Okay.
248. Is that
All
it?
right,
I think that's
let
it.
me just like refresh. I think we're good. Did you have any personal favorites in here?
There were a few that jumped out at me. This is a super tough call. I like that one that you just scrolled out at the bottom, that left.
Yeah, this one?
I liked that one a lot.
This is totally like fun rock and roll graphic designer.
Yeah, there's just
Awesome.
something about, but I did like also, there was one, it was like red and blue and yellow, I think, like each end of it. That one, it was right above the one you were just on.
Oh yeah, this is the
one below it, but also that one.
Oh, so
that
you
one
like
is really good too.
The one below that? Oh, this one here.
No. You almost got it. Up.
This way?
Nope.
This way?
Nope.
This way?
Yep.
Yeah, this one?
Yes. I like that one too. Not yellow, I guess, so much, but like kind of a
Heather Vander. Yeah, I like it too.
Man, it's so simple, but very bold.
Super strong. You could sell this. This would totally work, right?
Yeah.
Strong design sense, I think. I wish I had a higher res version, but I like it.
Yeah, and I like how the digital ticket is like ticket
Exactly.
shaped.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. There's a really tough call between that one and the first one you pulled up that's like very vibrant, but I think this one is probably the strongest one.
This one?
Me. Yeah. I don't know. What do you think?
Pull
up that other one again. That one, yeah. Man, it's tough. And I like that this one actually has a ticket element.
Yeah, I mean this
one's the notches.
This one's easy to. It's kind of easy to. I mean, you could see the amount of work that they put into it. I like lots of things about this.
Yeah. I do. I think this is one you were talking about earlier too. Where you
could
have
easily gotten derailed with anything here. Could have gotten derailed. The fact that technically this is in the center, you have this bar. Like, I don't know. I like all the colors being used. Kind of ties in with the photo. I think it's pretty strong. The use of tinting this could have been black, but no, they made it blue.
Right.
Totally works.
It ties it in, yeah. I like this one. I can see like keeping this one as like a souvenir.
What's funny about
this? For
this?
a super long time.
I didn't even really notice this, and it's so big and flat. I feel like, I don't know, the photographs add a lot of depth to it.
Yeah.
But there's too many strong ones to pick a favorite right now, which is why we aren't. But we know which ones are our favorites.
And I like the one that's above. It's off screen now.
Oh. Up?
Yeah, I like that one. You clicked on it earlier. Love that one. I
Yes.
love the one with the red can top.
Oh, yeah. Alexander's? This
Yeah,
one?
because all the design to it is so simple, but it's very striking. Like, it's not noisy.
Really cool.
It's very easy to read it. And I like that everything kind of is on brand. Like, everything is, you know, unified with, like, this the white and the red. And then, you know, you have the blue and the pink on the lightning bolt.
Yeah, I love this. Such strong graphics. Feel free to, like, hopefully you're going to join us tomorrow. Like, have fun with these graphics, too. Like, you can mess with these all you want. You're not going to get in trouble. But, like, have some fun, basically, is what I'm saying. Like, the world is your oyster tomorrow.
As David Bowie said.
What did he say?
The world is your oyster. What did he say? You had a quote though, that you were like, and I can't remember what it was.
I'll tell you. I have it right here. And this is what I love. We were talking about this earlier. I don't know where I'm going from here, but I promise it won't be boring.
That's when I was trying to dredge up from the mind depths, and it just wasn't happening.
Yeah, there you are.
This should be you tomorrow.
Yeah, this is me every day. I don't know where I'm going from here, but I promise it won't be boring. Even if you're doing design, like, I don't know where this is headed, but it's going to be awesome. And it's just good to have that positive outlook. Like, this is going to be amazing. And that's what I think is cool about you. I think you have, obviously you have design talent, and then you have these skills of After Effects. I just think you could just make cool stuff all day long, and we just get to sit back and watch.
Well, thank you.
I
hope that is the case.
And you made it easy for me to understand. I think it could have gotten complex for some people, but you explained it so well multiple times. I could see this as just a recording, an on-demand video that can be watched over and over again, for sure.
Yeah, I hope it's helpful. And you know, if I missed something today, please, you know, throw the questions in there. Bring the questions tomorrow. No question is too simple or too complex. Some questions might be too complex, but just let me know what you guys want to see, and I will do my best.
Yeah, exactly. And we're not going to link tomorrow's challenge. We're not going to post it here or anything like that. But
yeah, I don't know if JC, you're talking to me if you're asking who just, like, if I literally have no idea what tomorrow's challenge is. So I could not have been me.
So I'm not gonna post it anywhere or anything. But you will find out tomorrow. And we're just super happy to have you here. Join us tomorrow, by the way. We have Christine Arth with Kathleen Martin. And then we have many other rock stars. We brought out the heavy hitters this week. 3 awesome designers. We wanted to give them ample time. Christine's going to be up for 2 hours with Kathleen. Claude's going to be doing UX, UI. Caitlin's going to be back as we continue this project. 2 hours. Ask away. Just like take all you can. I don't know. Just like learn all you can from her. Don't take anything from her.
Please.
So that's the goal.
I only have so much.
I know. You're like, I'm just trying to do my job. I'm just happy to be here and do my job. Thank you so much, everyone. Keep the conversation going. Where can people follow you online if they want to hit you up through social medias? Can they just search?
Yeah, I am Kate Cadieux on everything. Should I spell that? I don't know.
No, we can throw up a lower third, and that will
lower third maybe.
Actually, what am I saying? It's actually in the info tab right next to us. So hopefully you are joining us on behance.net/live, info tab, and also right below us, right over here.
Caitlin Cadieux. So if you just take off the LIN, KateCadieux.com, Kate Cadieux on Twitter, Instagram, whatever. I don't go by Kate, actually. People call me that a lot, but I don't.
Don't
it's
you
fine.
dare.
You can.
I'm just joking.
But it's, but for some reason I did that. I don't know why. But yeah, and you know, KateCadieux@gmail if you want to email me, whatever. I just like to talk about this stuff. So you know, if you have any questions, like reach out. We can figure it out.
So kind of you, and so kind of all of you joining us today. Join us tomorrow and Thursday. We'll have talent up on Friday as well. But just hang out with us. Thanks so much, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye.